Welcome po dito sa Mission Core gathering po natin. Brothers, we have a very beautiful topic this evening. It is really getting to know the storm. Katulad po ng pag-asa para makapag-predict at makagawa po tayo ng tamang paraan upang hindi po tayo mapinsala sa bagyo. At pag-asa tries to study, get as much information on the characteristics of the storm. This is also true for us. There's a storm that is brewing, which has started there in the United States. And this will not just trickle down or will not just feel it in ripples. This will be, when it comes and reaches the Philippines, this will be like a tsunami. And you would like to be prepared for this. We have a speaker who is so much loved and has spoken so many times with Couples for Christ. He'll be talking about marriage. It is not because he is married or has a family, but he is an expert in marriage because he has studied so much about what marriage is, and he is the commissioner, is that, or the head of the Commission on Family Life of the Diocese of Manila. And he is a diocesan priest and has earned his bachelor's degree in philosophy and his master's in theology at San Carlos Seminary, and was ordained in 1996. So batang-bata pa ho yung pare. In 1999, he took further studies at the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, where he earned his licentiate degree in moral theology. Alam ko po, nag-graduate po siya dito as magna cum laude. He served as Dean of the Graduate School of Theology of San Carlos Seminary until May of this year, where he is also Professor of Fundamental Moral Theology, Bioethics, Special Moral Theology, and Sexuality and Integrity. He also heads the Ministry of Family Life of the Archdiocese of Manila, is a member of the Bioethics Committee of the Makati Medical Center. Just this year, he was assigned as Parish Priest of Our Lady, Mirror of Justice in Comembo, Makati. Most of all to us in CFC, he is our main formator on the theology of the body, conducting the TOB weekend for CFC for the last 3 to 4 years, and he has been conducting it, I think, 4 times a year. The last one, he conducted it in Bulacan. Our speaker will be speaking about the decision of the Supreme Court of the United States of America, and has entitled this talk as Stolen Identity, Why the SCOTUS Decision on Marriage is Not About Marriage at All. Brothers and sisters, let us welcome our speaker for this evening, no less than Father Joel Hasson.
Okay, good evening to everyone. Magandang gabi po. Before I begin my presentation for tonight, once more I would like to extend my gratitude to the whole community for giving me this opportunity and the privilege to once more speak to you on your teaching night. The topic that was assigned to me, or that I was asked to speak about, is a topic that I'm not so happy to speak about, honestly. Why? Because this is a topic that is so divisive. This is a topic that is something that is very, well, we can even say wounding, because this is a topic that affects real persons, real people with real struggles. And I'm sure, even as I talk right now, even as you have heard what I will be speaking about, you already have real people in your minds who you know are affected by this. And maybe right now, as I speak, even in this assembly, it's quite possible that we may have a diversity of opinion with regards this topic. And that is why I believe whenever we talk about topics like this, it is very important to be very objective, And it is also very important to be very reverential with regards the points that we will be bringing out. I decided to call my presentation Stolen Identity with the subtitle, Why the Scotus Decision on Marriage is Not About Marriage at All. Just some clarification. SCOTUS means the Supreme Court of the United States. So, baka meron lang pong hindi masyadong familiar sa term na yon. Now, why did I call this talk Stolen Identity? Because when the Supreme Court of the United States, in a 5-4 decision, decided to define marriage as something that we know it, I think it does not change marriage at all. The best that the SCOTUS decision can do is to take something that is beautiful and twist it and give it a different meaning. And that is why, even though in the legal sphere, legally speaking, they say that they have managed to change the definition of marriage, we know in our hearts that it did not. We know in our hearts that marriage remains to be marriage. And at best, what happened in June of 2015 in the United States is simply a case of stolen identity. And you know that, no? That identity is very important. You know that. Names are very important. People go to court because of names. Okay? Now, this is Justice Anthony Kennedy, the one who wrote the last paragraph or the main paragraph of the SCOTUS decision on marriage. Let us look at what he said. No union is more profound than marriage, for it embodies the highest ideals of love, fidelity, devotion, sacrifice, and family. Very beautiful. It begins with an affirmation of the profound beauty of the sacrament of marriage. And then it goes on to say, in forming a marital union, two people become something greater than once they were. Now you can easily notice the words, two people. It no longer said a man and a woman. It says two people. So right there in the opening statement alone, you can already see what they are trying to achieve. And then it says, it would misunderstand these men and women to say that they respect the idea of marriage. Their plea is that they do respect it so deeply that they seek to find its fulfillment for themselves. Alam niyo, nung nabasa ko yan, ang tanong ko sa sarili ko, ang ganda naman pala eh. Nire-respeto nila yung marriage. But my real question is, if you respect something, why do you want to change it to suit your own agenda? Parang ano yan eh, limbawa ako, gusto kong sumali sa CFC. At sasabihin kong, nire-respeto ko ang CFC eh. Pero gusto kong pumasok sa CFC by changing your requirements in order that I may join. Hindi ako sasali dyan according to your own specification. Kayo ang magbago ng inyong requirements so that I can join. Now, if I do that, can I really say that I respect your organization? Parang ganoon na nangyayari. And yet, when you listen to the semantics of the SCOTUS decision, ang gandang pakinggan eh. It is something that they respect. Okay? Their hope is not to be condemned to live in loneliness, excluded from one of civilization's oldest institution. They ask for equal dignity in the eyes of the law. Now, this term, equal dignity, we will investigate later on. What does equality and dignity have to do with one another. And then it says, the Constitution grants them that right. It is so ordered. And by a decision of 5 against 4, the definition of marriage has been changed in the United States. And now it is legal in all of the states in the United States. Okay? Now, so that is a short introduction. Now, when I read that statement by the Supreme Court, I was reminded of this text message that I received several days ago. It said, the gospel is meant to change man, not for man to change the gospel to suit his actions. Parang ganyan ang nangyari sa United States. Papalitan ko ang definition ng marriage so that it can suit my own situation. My talk will take 3 directions tonight. 3 simple directions. I will try to answer the questions. Number 1, how did we get there? Paano tayong nakarating dito sa puntong ito that we want to change the definition of marriage? And then second question, what do we do now? And then the third question is, where do we go from here? So let's answer the first question. How did we get there? Well, it all began way back in the book of Genesis. Nagsimula yan as early as the biblical times. I have here a picture of Michelangelo's rendition of the temptation by the serpent of Adam and Eve. This is the temptation of the serpent. If you eat the fruit of this tree, you will be like gods. Remember the prohibition of Yahweh to Adam and Eve. You can eat everything in the garden except one. And that is the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And then the serpent came. And the serpent says, did God tell you not to eat? When you eat it, you will become like God. Now, ang pwede nating itanong dito what is wrong with being like God? After all, the Bible says we are created in the image of God. And God intends that we become like Him. The problem with the temptation of the serpent is this. He wants us to become like God apart from God. The will of God is this, that we become like God with Him, not apart from Him. The temptation of the serpent is, no, be like God apart from God. And so the temptation of the serpent was for us to grab divinity from God. God wants to give us divinity, but divinity is a gift that He wants to give us. It is not a right that we can grab from Him. Pero yun ang temptation ng demonyo, ng serpent. Huwag mo nang hintayin ibigay sa iyo. Kunin mo na sa Diyos. So in a certain sense, the serpent from the very beginning did not want to acknowledge God. Ayaw niyang maglingkod sa Diyos. I will not serve. We were in Cebu just this weekend, and when we were in Cebu, Archbishop Soc Villegas spoke about a certain desert father named Abba Lilo. This is a story shared by Cardinal Ratzinger in his book, The Spirit of the Liturgy. This particular desert father asked God to show him the devil. And God granted his wish. And according to this desert founder, he saw what the devil looked like. He was thin, he was black, he was ghastly, and then one particular detail, he had no knees. Walang tuhod. Now, what is the meaning of that? Why does the devil have no knees? Because the devil would not kneel before God. Because the ability to have knees is the ability to kneel down. And the inability to kneel down is the mark of the diabolical. That was the temptation of the serpent. Do not kneel before God, and therefore grab divinity from Him. And so, from the early times of the Bible, ano lang sinabi ng tao? No, God, you will not decide for me. I will decide for myself. And then, in the Middle Ages, there was this philosopher named René Descartes. Ano pong sinabi ni René Descartes? I think, therefore I am. This is radical humanism. It is the exaltation of the human person in isolation from God. Kaya ang sabi ni René Descartes, I think, therefore I am. What does that mean? Kung anong iniisip ko, yun ako. Kung anong iniisip ko, yun ang totoo. Kung anong iniisip ko, yun ang reality. I think, therefore I am. And therefore, truth and reality does not depend on something objective. It will depend on what I think. And John Paul II calls this the motto of modern rationalism. Yan ang philosophy ni René Descartes. And we can easily see the influence of this philosophy in our modern day. For example, this Justice Kennedy, the one who wrote the last paragraph of the Scottish decision, was also the one who wrote the decision on Planned Parenthood versus Casey in 1992. The case that reaffirmed the legalization of abortion in the United States. Look at what Justice Kennedy said. Sabi niya, at the heart of liberty is the right to define one's own concept of existence. Shades of I think, therefore I am. The right to define the meaning of the universe and of the mystery of human life. Nakikita niyo yung influence ng modern rationalism. I will decide whether that thing in the woman is a person or not. Science will not decide it. Ako magde-decide. And so when the Supreme Court decided it is only a clump of cells, therefore we can abort it, then they legalize abortion. Pero nakita niyo yung inconsistency nila. Di ba later on lang merong lumabas na video about Planned Parenthood selling organs of newly aborted babies. When they abort babies, ang tawag nila doon, clump of cells. Pero pag magbebenta na sila, anong tawag nila? Human organs. Do you see the inconsistency? Pagpapatayin nila yung bata, oh, it's only a clump of cells. Pero pag magbebenta na, they call it human organs. I think, therefore I am. This professor, William James, spoke of defactualization. Ano raw yung defactualization? Sabi niya, today, truth has been relegated to a secondary position in the nation's public school, university, political forums, and public square. Hindi na raw mahalaga ang katotohanan. Ang mahalaga na lang, opinion. Kaya marami mga estudyante ngayon, pag magre-recite, ang laging opening statement nila, according to my opinion, or what I think, naalala ko nung ako po yung nag-e-exam, final exam, nung ako'y seminarista pa, tinanong ako ng aking professor, sabi sa akin, Joel, what is the Immaculate Conception? Medyo hindi ako nag-aral lang mabuti. So sabi ko, I think the Immaculate Conception is, biglang sabi ng professor ko, I don't care what you think. I don't care what your opinion is. I want the facts. Hindi opinion ang pinag-uusapan dito. I want you to tell me what is the Immaculate Conception. Yun yung defactualization na sinasabi ni William James. Lahat na lang, my opinion, my opinion. We are no longer concerned with the truth. And this is the reason why, ayan, no? Do you know that athlete Bruce Jenner, that Olympian, who won several gold medals in the 1972 Olympics? Machong-macho, no? Gwapong-gwapo. But now, anong sabi niya? Call me Caitlyn. From being Bruce Jenner, now I am Caitlyn Jenner. And then he said, this is who I really am. Welcome my true identity. Hindi ba yan yung I think, therefore I am? Before he was known as Bruce Jenner, pero now I think I am Caitlyn Jenner. Regardless of the scientific facts. Ang sabi ni Peter Crave, the fault of the modern culture is not ignorance of the truth, but ignoring the truth. At no time in history are we full of facts about biology. We are not ignorant of biology, but we ignore biology. If you look at Bruce Jenner, his DNA will tell you that he is a male. If you look at his chromosomes, he will have an XY chromosome, telling us that he is scientifically male. And therefore, kahit na magsuot siya ng dress, at palitan niya yung kanyang pangalan na siya ay si Caitlyn, it does not change the truth that he is a male wearing a dress. Totoo yung sinasabi ni Peter Crave, the problem of our modern culture is not ignorance of the truth, but ignoring the truth. This is the reason why we arrived at this stage. Now, another philosophy, equality necessarily leads to justice. Yan yung sinabi ng Supreme Court, na men and women only want equal dignity. Pero ano ba ang equality? Dignity. I have here a picture of equality. Take a look at it for a moment. Equality. Why is that equality? Because all of them are using the same sizes of boxes. Pero dahil iba-iba yung kanilang height, anong nangyayari? Pare-pareho equal, pero there is injustice. Bakit? Hindi nakikita nung maliit. This is justice. And equality is different from justice. Maraming nagdidemand, we want justice and equality in marriage. Pero ano ang kanilang notion of equality? Their notion of equality is arithmetic equality. Dapat pare-pareho ang sizes ng boxes. Dapat walang difference. Pero kung pare-pareho yan at walang difference, there will be injustice as a consequence. Parang yung nakikita natin dito. Kung wala ang sexual differences, equal nga, pero merong injustice, lalong-lalo na sa mga bata. Bakit? The first right of a child is the right to have a father and a mother. Ayan, equal nga, parehong lalaki, pero merong injustice. So, arithmetic equality does not necessarily lead to justice. In fact, it can even lead to injustice. So, this is how we got there. Ito yung mga philosophy na nagdala sa atin kung nasaan tayo ngayon. Now, the second question, where do we go? What do we do now? I call it Operation Reclamation. We have to do some reclamation. What do we do now? Now, bakit reclamation? Because there are many things that we need to reclaim. Unang-una na lang, the word gay. Originally, the word gay was happy. Naalala ko po nung kami nasa Roma, may excursion po kami. Merong isang paring nag-lead ng prayer. Yung paring ito medyo may pagka, a little bit effeminate. So medyo nagtuksuan yung mga pare. Sabi nung leading ng pare, nag-lead siya ng prayer, Lord, I thank you for today. Please make us happy. And then the priest in the bus shouted, and gay. And then sabi nung pare, no Lord, just happy. Kasi iba nang ibig sabihin ng gay ngayon di ba? Pag sinabi mong gay, hindi na masaya Hindi na happy and gay Kaya sabi niya, no Lord, just happy. Okay? So that is something that we need to reclaim. The rainbow. The rainbow is something that we need to reclaim. Why? Because the rainbow is a beautiful Christian symbol. But the devil has stolen the meaning of the rainbow. Ngayon, ano nang ibig sabihin ng rainbow? Diversity. Kasi iba-ibang kulay. So sinasabi nila, hindi naman mahalaga kung anong kulay mo, maganda, marami, diversity. But what was the original meaning of the rainbow in the book of Genesis? It was the beginning of a new human race. The reason why Noah took animals in pairs, and mind you, not male-male, not female-female, but male and female animals. Bakit pairs? So that after the flood, humanity may begin again. So that after the flood, the whole animal species may begin again. And so the rainbow was the beginning of the rebirth of a new civilization. When God allowed the rainbow to appear, He was telling man and animals, okay, now again reproduce and multiply and fill the earth again. That was the original meaning of the rainbow. Pero ngayon na bago na ang ibig sabihin, we need to reclaim it. The word, this is my body. Originally, that was a very beautiful word, referring to the sacrifice of the Lord. This is my body given for you. Ngayon, anong nangyari? Iba na ang ibig sabihin ng this is my body. This is my body, I will sacrifice you. I will kill you because this is my body. So there are many things that we need to reclaim. Kaya dapat magkaroon tayo ng operation, reclamation. Now, in terms of the same-sex union, what do we need to reclaim? Number one, we need to reclaim our understanding of love and gender. We need to reclaim our understanding of love and tolerance. We need to reclaim our understanding of desire. And then lastly, we need to reclaim what makes marriage a marriage. Let's talk about number one, love and gender. Ito, very popular na itong motong ito. People fall in love with a person, not a gender. Ganda, no? Gandang pakinggan, no? People fall in love with a person, not a gender. You know, you will hear many people say, why is the church telling me that I cannot love a man? Anong masama sa pag-ibig? Naalala ko yung kwento, merong isang batang sumagot ng exam. Fill in the blanks. Lahat ng blanks, ang sagot niya, love, 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 love. Nung tinanong siya ng professor niya, why did you put love there? The student said, because love is never wrong. O nga naman, ano? Laging tama ang pag-ibig. No? But we need to understand, ano bang ibig sabihin ng love? Laging sinasabi nila, Father, why can't I love a man? Sinong may sabing the church is telling you, you cannot love a man? Jesus says, love one another as I love you. Yes, you can love a man. Jesus loved John. David loved Jonathan. In fact, John was even called the disciple whom Jesus loved. So there is no problem, there is nothing wrong with a man loving another man. Kaya lang ang problema ng kultura natin, when we say, I want to love a man, what we are really saying is, I want to have sex with a man. Doon dapat tayo magkaroon ng distinction. Because today when we say, there is nothing wrong with loving a man, what we are really saying is, there is really nothing wrong with having sex with a man or with a fellow woman. And that is why we are fond of mouthing this motto, people fall in love with a person, not a gender. Lagi natin sinasabi, love wins. Okay? Love has no gender. I agree. Love has no gender. But sex does. Huwag niyo pong kalimutan yon. Love has no gender. That is why Jesus said, love everyone, even your enemies. Hindi namimili ang pag-ibig. Pero pag sex, sex has a gender. Bakit? Because sex is a particular human action with a particular meaning and purpose. And what is the particular meaning and purpose of sex? Babies and bonding. Babies and bonding. I love many people. In fact, I can say I love all of you, but I cannot have sex with all of you. I should not have sex with all of you. We should be able to distinguish love and the sex act. Yun ang pagkakamali ng kultura natin ngayon eh. Hindi na tayo nagdi-distinguish. Love has no gender. True. But sex does. As I said a while ago, sex as an action is something that has a particular meaning. It has pleasure and purpose. Pleasure leads to bonding. Purpose leads to babies. Pag nakalimutan natin one or the other, that will lead to problems and moral evil. Kaya ito yung dapat nating i-reclaim. What do we mean when we say love? And then what do we mean when we say love has no gender? Okay? So that's the first one. Second, love and acceptance. Love and toleration. Ito, marami na namang mga taong nagsasabi nito, no? Don't hate, love and tolerate. Now, ano yung dapat nating i-distinguish dito? Number one, ito po. Love does not mean approval. Love does not necessarily mean acceptance. The problem with our culture today is, if I disagree with you, automatically sasabihin nila, you're intolerant. You're a bigot. You're a hater. But we need to understand that there is a big difference between love and approval. Ngayon kasi, namimix na natin yung dalawang yun eh. Pag sinabi natin, I love you, that should also mean, I approve everything that you do. Alam natin hindi totoo yun. Even in our everyday life, parents know this. You love your children to death, I'm sure. But that love unto death towards your children does not mean that you approve everything that your children will do. Dapat merong distinction yung love and approval. Ganon din when we talk about the issue of same-sex union. When I disapprove of same-sex union, it does not necessarily mean that I don't love you. Ngayon kasi ganon kaya tayo natatakot kasi why? All of us are afraid of being termed or labeled as a hater or a bigot. Ang gusto natin matawag, oh, I want to be a loving person. Pero pag wala ang distinction na yan, pag hindi klaro ang distinction na yan sa atin, we will fall in ambiguity. So that's the first, no? The difference between love and approval or love and acceptance. Secondly, the difference between toleration and acceptance. Kasi very big word yan, tolerance. You know, nowadays, what the LGBT community wants us to have is not only tolerance. What they want us to have is celebration. I prepared here a short video clip. Okay? It is entitled, Condoning or Condemning. I want you to listen very closely to the dialogues of the characters and observe very closely the actions and the reactions of the character.
Hey, good morning.
Hey.
You moving in?
Yeah. Oop.
Whoa, watch it. I'm Greg.
I'm Justin. Nice to meet you.
It's good to meet you. Where are you moving from?
Houston, Texas.
Houston. Oh, fantastic. Well, welcome to Denver.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, Lawrence. Hi, I'm Lawrence.
Lawrence, I'm Greg. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Hey, Jenny, come out here. Jenny, this is our daughter, Jenny. Meet Greg. He's going to be our new neighbor.
Oh, good to meet you. Wow, your daughter. Oh, terrific. Well, great. Great. Well, I live next door, so if you need anything, let me know. I got kind of something I have to do, but welcome. Good to meet you.
It's good to meet you too. Hey, man. Can I help you out there?
No, I got it.
All right. Well, I don't mind at all.
No, I got it. I know you've been moving stuff all day, so I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. Cool. Sure.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, I live next door. Would you guys like to come to a barbecue?
Yeah, I'd love to actually.
You know, I would, but I have some stuff I need to do. So, but thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Hey neighbor. Hey, made some cookies for you.
Oh, thanks.
Hope that's
Thanks,
okay.
you guys. made these yourself? You didn't buy them?
Well, I made them. Yeah, they're just chocolate chip. I hope that's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. They're not gluten free or anything like that.
No. They're actually good.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg. Need some help?
Yeah. If you could, thanks.
No problem. Can I take your bag, too?
Yeah. Thank you.
How's your day going?
That's pretty good. Thanks. Hey, I had some of those cookies you guys brought over. So good. Delicious.
Lawrence is the cook usually. I just burn stuff.
You can just put that bag down there.
Right
That's fine.
So, hey, are you an artist?
Yeah, just some stuff I'm kind of working on.
Oh, they look really great.
Thanks.
So we wanted to ask you, we're doing a dinner thing tonight around 6, if you want to come over.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not doing anything, so yeah, I guess I'd come by. You need me to bring something?
Yeah, we've got the main dish covered, but if you want to bring something to drink, that'd be great.
All right. Okay. I'll be there at 6.
All
Thank
right,
you.
See you then.
I think I'm going to take off, guys. Thank you very much for a great dinner and a great evening. This was really a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And actually, I have a question. So, Justin and I moved here, and we came here actually so we could be together.
Together?
Yeah.
Oh, like together.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
So, we are having a little ceremony next week, and wanted to know if you could be there.
Oh, is this an invitation?
It is, yeah. We're not really expecting many people from our family to be there, so we're trying to invite everybody we can from here.
Oh, guys, thank you so much. This is, I feel touched that you would consider me a friend to invite me. Thank you very much. I'm pretty sure I'm free, so I will be there. And again, thanks for a great night. Good night to you all. Jenny,
Thank you.
good night. Good to see you.
But hey, do you want the last cookie?
No, that's okay. I think I've had enough. So, thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Now, what did we see in that video that I just showed you? Again, obviously, at the end of the video, you discover that this is actually an LGBT propaganda. Okay? They are saying that tolerance should always lead to celebration. Yun yung imbitasyon ng couple dun sa lalaki. Kaya lagi nalang pinipilit no? Please come, please come. And the guy was having a sort of a difficulty reconciling, dapat ba akong pumunta doon o dapat ba hindi? Pag hindi siya pumunta doon, he will be called intolerant. Pag hindi siya pumunta doon, he will be called a hater. But what should we remember? Criticizing someone else's moral decisions does not necessarily mean that you hate him. Uulitin ko po, no? Criticizing someone else's moral decisions does not necessarily mean that you hate. Kasi ang tanong dito ay ito, when do you hate? Or when is someone a hater? Someone hates when one makes decisions simply out of subjective conditions. Wala lang. Ganun lang ang nararamdaman ko. Ayoko, kaya ayoko. Yun ang hater. But when you make your decisions based on objective criteria, it does not necessarily mean that you hate. In fact, dapat mo nga tinatanungin teka, ano ba yung pinagbabasihan nung iyong desisyon? For example, in the olden times, there was discriminations against black people. And people said, black people cannot ride this bus simply because they're black. So there is no objective basis that prevents them from riding that bus. That is discrimination. That is hate. Because there is nothing in being black that prevents you from riding a bus. So walang objective basis. Kaya pag sinabi ng mga tao, hindi ka pwedeng pumasok because you're black, yan ang hater. Yan ang bigotry. But when the church says that marriage is only for man and woman, or that sex is only for a male and a female, does she have an objective basis? Yes. She has an objective scientific basis. And therefore, dapat ang reaksyon natin dito ay hindi agad-agad, you're a hater, you're a bigot. Baka magandang tanungin natin, baka nga tama yung criteria na gusto mong pag-isipan ko. And that is why in this dialogue, in this disagreement between same-sex union, let us not easily go to that sentimental conclusion na, ayokong matawag na bigot or hater. Let us remain with our objective facts. And that is why tolerance and hate does not necessarily mean so because I disagree with what you are saying. Pero ganyan ang nangyayari ngayon The LGBT community are asking us not only to tolerate them, they are even asking us to celebrate them. Okay? For example, I have this picture here. Okay? Sabi dito, if a homosexual was hungry, would I offer him food? Yes. If a homosexual was hurt, would I assist them in seeking medical help? Yes. If a homosexual needed shelter, would I offer them a safe place? Yes. If a homosexual was lost, would I help them find their way? Yes. If a homosexual was broke down on the side of the road, would I stop and offer assistance to get them going again? Yes. If a homosexual was drowning, would I do all in my power to rescue them? Yes. But if a homosexual asks me to make them a cake for a gay wedding, would I make them a cake? Our answer should be no. And if your answer is no, that does not make you a bigot. Why? The first sentences at the top refer to the homosexual as a person. And we should always be tolerant of persons. That last item, with regards baking a cake for a gay wedding, that refers to an act. That is a celebration of an act. And what is that act? A sexual encounter between a male and a male. And we can be intolerant of actions. Tolerance is for persons, intolerance are for actions. And when we are intolerant of actions, that does not automatically make you a hater. It will only depend if your intolerance has clear, objective basis. Pero ngayon, ganyan ang nangyayari. They are asking not only to be tolerated, but to be celebrated. Parang pinipilit na, di ba? There is a couple in the United States, a baker who is now broke and their business already closed. Why? Because they were forcing him to bake a cake for their wedding. Alam niyo, nung makita ko yun, talagang nalulungkot ako. Bakit? Talagang sinasadya na eh. Hindi ba sila makakita ng baker na sympathetic to same-sex unions? Na kailangan mo pa talagang pumunta doon sa Christian baker in order to force him to make a cake for you. Para namang walang ibang magbe-bake para sa kanya. Pero talagang tina-target. No? Okay, we go on. The last thing that we need to reclaim is desire. Now, everybody speaks about desire. At alam natin when we speak of desire, that is something that is difficult to ignore because we all have them. Pero ang dapat na maunawaan natin dito is, desires are amoral. Ano pong ibig sabihin ng amoral? They are neither wrong nor bad. What we do about them is what will determine whether it is good or bad. Pero by themselves, they are neither wrong nor bad. Now, desires by themselves also can be misdirected. Kaya kailangan natin silang gabayan. One author by the name of Jason Everett was relating an incident. Nakita niya yung kanyang anak. His son, still an infant, was about to lick a fly's water. Ano yung fly's water? Yung pinampapatay natin ng lamok. His son was about to lick it. Siyempre, bakit? Kasi children have a desire to lick everything. But they still do not have the mental sophistication to distinguish whether I should do this or not. If you were the parent of that child, what will you do? Oh, just let him do it. After all, he has a sincere desire for it. Hindi. Pipigilan mo yan. And then, anong sabi ni Jason Everett? Sabi niya, the problem is not with the desire. The problem is the object of his desire. Where he goes and what he does in order to satisfy it. Kaya ang ginawa niya, kinuha niya yung fly's water, binigyan niya ng ice cream. Sabi niya, there, lick it all you want. Now, ngayon, yung desire is already properly channeled. Okay? So, what should we need to understand about desires? This is what we need to understand. Sabi ni Christopher West in his book, Fill These Hearts, let us orient our desires according to its design so that we will reach our destiny. Kasi yung ating desire, meron niyang design eh. And if we do not orient our desires according to their design, ano mangyayari? We will reach our destiny. In fact, we will be brought to ruin. Now, I will speak about something that is very sensitive. For example, a male desiring a fellow male. And not only desiring, but sexually desiring a fellow male. is that desire according to its design? Sabihin nila, Father, ano bang masama nun? A male can have sex with a fellow male. After all, no, they use this analogy, and please don't be scandalized, no. I say this with all due reverence. We are in the church, no. Pero sabi nila, after all, ano bang pagkakaiba nun? It's just a matter of a key fitting a keyhole. So pwede rin namang mag-sex ang lalaki sa lalaki, basta mag-fit lang. Alam mo, nang marinig ko yun, nabi ko, ganun ba talaga yon? It's just a matter of a key fitting a keyhole. Naalala ko yung mga game show. Di ba maraming mga game show na bibigyan ka ng maraming susi, and then meron kang bubuksan na pinto, and at the end of that door, there is a prize. Now what happens? If you have a bunch of keys, you can use all those keys. Lahat ng susi pumapasok eh. So they all fit. But what is the difference? They are not complementary. And that is why even if they fit, they don't open. Even if they fit, they do not bring life. Ganun yung males having sex with males. Oh yes, they will fit, but will it open the door to life? It will not open. Isa lang ang makapagbubukas ng pintong yun. At ano yung makapagbubukas ng pintong yun? The proper complementary key. And what is the proper complementary key to a male? It is the female. It not only fits, but it even unlocks it. And it opens up to life. So hindi totoo na, after all, it's just a matter of a key fitting a keyhole. Napakalaking difference. So, tama yung sinasabi dito ni Christopher West. We need to orient our desires according to its design so that we will meet our destiny. Again, scientific facts. Pag nagbasa kayo ng mga results ng mga medical studies, in what area of our society is the transmission of AIDS and HIV most prevalent? In the MSM sector. Ano po yung MSM? Males having sex with males. That is a proven scientific fact. Bakit nandoon sa sector na yon, pinakamataas ang transmission ng HIV and AIDS? Now again, no, we have to say this with the proper reverence. Because homosexual sex is simply not designed for intercourse. At kapag yan ay iyong pinilit, anong nangyayari? Ayun, nagkakaroon ng lesions. And that is why the transmission of the virus becomes direct into the bloodstream. This is nature, biology telling us that males are simply not made to have sex with fellow males. This is natural moral law. And affirming the natural moral law is science, not hate. Sana maunawaan natin yan. Nang sa gayon, unang-una, hindi tayo matakot. At if you're on the other end of the spectrum, hindi tayo mabilis na mag-judge na, oh, you're a hater and you're a bigot. Okay? Intolerance is not the same as acceptance. Okay? Now, that is as far as desire is concerned. I would like to end with this. Marriage is the union between a man and a woman. Anything outside this is a mirage. Ganda, no? Tama nga naman, no? Pero the last question, what makes a marriage a marriage? Okay? What makes a marriage a marriage? If you look at the definition of marriage, This is what the dictionary will tell you. Marriage is the permanent union of a man and a woman committed to each other for life, dedicated to the procreation and education of children for the good of society and the continuation of the human race. So all of these elements of the definition is what makes a marriage a marriage. Doon sa decision ng Supreme Court of the United States, wala lahat yan. Ano ang marriage doon? Marriage is simply the union of two adults. Yun lang. Wala yung aspect of the union between a man and a woman. Wala yung dedication to procreation and the education of children. Wala yung good of the society and the continuation of the human race. Of course, they will not include that. Why? Because they simply cannot. A male and a male simply cannot be dedicated to procreation. O Father, we can adopt. Saan nanggaling yung product of adoption? From the union of a male and a female. Stolen identity na naman. Father, yung good of the society. Now, the question is, what good for society is the marriage between a male and a male? What good for society does it bring? Can you give me one? Father, marami naman diyang gays na maraming naitutulong sa lipunan na. Well, marami silang naitutulong sa lipunan, hindi dahil gay sila. May naitutulong sila sa lipunan dahil they are persons with good hearts and with good talents. Pero yung naitutulong nila sa lipunan is not the product of their union. But the union between a man and a woman has a particular good for society. Why? Because the permanent union of a man and a woman assures that a child will grow up in a permanent, committed relationship. And we know that children who grow up in a permanent, committed relationship end up being positive contributors in society. And then, of course, for the continuation of the human race, that is pretty obvious. And so, these are the elements of marriage that we find in that definition. The covenant of fidelity, the sexual complementarity, the possibility of sex and procreation, societal benefit, and the sustenance of the human race. These are the characteristics that make a marriage a marriage. Without these characteristics, that is not a marriage. Ngayon kasi ang mahalaga na lang, basta you love one another, marriage na yan. Not necessarily. I love my mother, but I am not married to her. I cannot call our relationship a marriage. I love my brothers and sisters, but I cannot call that relationship a marriage. Why? Because it does not have all these elements. A marriage is only a marriage if it has those particular elements. Other than that, as the poster a while ago said, it is nothing but a mirage. Sabi ni Ryan Anderson, for marriage policy to serve the common good, it must reflect the truth that marriage unites a man and a woman as husband and wife so that children will have both a mother and a father. Marriage is based on the anthropological truth that men and women are distinct and complementary. The biological fact that reproduction depends on a man and a woman, and the social reality that children deserve a mother and a father. Okay, now the last question. Where do we go from here? Number one, suggestion lang po ito. Be gentle yet ardent proclaimers of the gospel. Kailangan hindi tayo natatakot mag-proclaim ng katotohanan. Be ardent and yet be gentle. Mahalaga po yung ardent. Kasi kadalasan, lagi tayong gentle eh. Merong isang commentators nagsabi, the problem with us today is that there are too many Christians and very few soldiers. Anong ibig sabihin niya? Tayo daw mga Kristiyano, lagi lang tayong gentle as doves. Pero nakakalimutan natin, Jesus also asks us to become wise as serpents. So let us be gentle, yet ardent proclaimers of the gospel of Christ. Second, be ready to be persecuted. Hindi pa po dumarating sa atin yung same-sex marriage decision. Pero ngayon pa lang, naririnig na natin, no? Meron ng ugong-ugong, no, from the ground that this will be pushed. Eh, alam naman natin, di ba? May kasabihan, when America sneezes, the world gets a cold. Gaya-gaya tayo. Pag dumating sa ating bayan yan, be ready to be persecuted. Eh ngayon pa nga lang, nape-persecute na ako eh. Sa aking Facebook account, marami akong hate messages na natatanggap. Pag nagpo-post ako, tinatawag akong bigot, hater, ina-unfriend ako. Okay? Now, kung kayo ay takot ma-unfriend, nako, you cannot be a Christian. Be ready to be persecuted. Okay? What happened? Okay? Ayan. Now, third, practice positive orthodoxy. This is not my term. This is the term of Pope Francis. Ano yung positive orthodoxy? Sabi niya, it is refuting evil by increasing the influence of good. Hindi naman tayo pwedeng laging nakikibaka lagi eh. Hindi tayo pwedeng laging nagrarally. Now, some of us can do that. But in our everyday lives, what can we do? Refute evil by increasing the influence of good. Live your married life according to its beauty. Show the world the beauty of a committed family life. Show the world the beauty of a home where there is a committed father and a mother, where children grow up in security. When you do that, you are increasing the influence of good in the world, and at the same time, you are refuting evil. Yan ang positive orthodoxy. And then fourth, have confidence in the splendor of truth. Nasa atin ang katotohanan. At sabi ni St. Augustine, truth is like a lion. Just set it free, and it will defend itself. Just know the truth. Understand the truth, and it will defend itself. And then lastly, be calm. Sleep well. It's God's church. Alam niyo yung image of the sleeping Saint Joseph? Magandang image yan. Because even when we are asleep, God is still at work. For 2,000 years, the evil one has been trying to put down the church, and it has not succeeded. So my closing message, be calm, sleep well, it is still God's church. Thank you very much, and good evening po sa inyong lahat.